A gun brandished in a courtroom. It's a shocking thought, maybe even more so if it was allegedly done by a judge. Last week, 7 News first learned of these allegations against 2nd Judicial Circuit Judge David Hummel Jr. A Houston-based attorney claims that during trial, Judge Hummel pulled out a gun to make a point about personal protection. Judge Hummel reached out to us about the allegations and says he is not permitted to comment at this time. But the attorney says she felt there was nonstop abuse during the trial.
This was just so far beyond anything I could have ever imagined.
The case was Huey versus EQT in March in a New Martinsville courtroom. But attorney Lauren Varnado, who represents EQT, says the case and issues with it began before that, when she and her team tried to have 2nd Judicial Circuit Judge David Hummel Jr. disqualified from the case.
We had moved to disqualify Judge Hummel from the case after learning that he and his family also own minerals, meaning are also parties to leases. So of course, I mean, he's similarly aligned with the plaintiffs in our case.
However, that didn't happen, so the trial began. Varnado said they'd been at trial a week when Judge Hummel's alleged abusive behavior began.
We began our opening statement and he loses it. He just lost it. He dismisses the jury, screamed at us for approximately 30 to 45 minutes. He didn't like our opening statement.
That was a Monday. Varnado tells 7 News that Judge Hummel screamed at her in front of the entire courtroom additional times throughout the week. She was worried for herself and for her staff, especially after receiving threats from outside the courtroom that week. So she hired security. Then Varnado explains she was called in on a Saturday for a special hearing, just one of many things she described as unusual, including that her security officer was not allowed in the court and the plaintiff's legal team was not present in person. That's when she says another confrontation with Judge Hummel happened.
He claimed that he didn't know that they were security until I guess the day before, and was basically like, how am I just now finding this out? Why would you have security? And that's when, aren't my guns and security enough? I mean, he walked around all the time with his robe open. I saw his gun.
Varnado reported the incident to the FBI in Pittsburgh and was assured it was safe to go back to court.
The Wetzel County Sheriff was actually on the plaintiff's witness list. So you can imagine I'm not going to call the Wetzel County police.
They went back on Monday and the case was resolved. 7 News reached out to the West Virginia Judicial Investigation Commission to see if Judge Hummel was under investigation. The state Supreme Court of Appeals public information officer says, quote, the Judicial Investigation Commission does not confirm or deny whether it is investigating a judicial officer. The existence of an investigation becomes public only when formal ethics charges are filed against that judicial officer or the JIC issues an admonishment, end quote.
He treats counsel who appears before him with contempt, disdain, and disrespect, period.
Now, Judge Hummel did return our requests for comment this afternoon and said he is not permitted to speak about the incident at this time. However, he said when he is able to talk about it, he will share his side with us. And the West Virginia Judicial Investigation Commission said no charges have been filed against Judge Hummel as of today.